So, hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to your November reading. So excited to do this on Samhain, Halloween. Happy Halloween to you, wherever you are in the world. I'm sending my love and my heartfelt support out there. I know a lot of people are going through difficult times right now. So, I wanted to use the energy, this full moon energy in Taurus, being a Taurus myself. It just has that potency to do a reading on a night like tonight. So I'll be quite honest, I got back from work and I was like, I just want to relax, but I just still feel like the energy will carry through the reading. I'm a little bit of an evening bird. I like my evenings, and I always have a cut-off point in the evening where I'm just like, that's it, it's time to recharge and relax. I actually love the evenings. And today, where I am in the UK, the weather was just horrific this morning. And then in the afternoon, it's just done a 360 turnaround and it's become lovely and dry. And we had an actual sunny blue sky at one point. So thankful for that. So what I've done is I've pulled 12 cards, starting with the top left-hand corner and then moving through into the bottom right hand corner. So I will try and put a picture up if I load this up to YouTube. I'm not decided yet whether I'm going to do it straight onto Facebook or YouTube. I'm finding Facebook at the moment a little bit challenging to load anything up to. So I have merged my Susan Shepherd Black Moon astrology cards. With it being Scorpio time, it's perfect to do with mediumship, astrology, anything to do with divination. It's super powerful at the moment. Psychic energies are very strong. And I've also mixed them with the Heal Yourself reading cards, Ina Sigal, which are the newest pack that I've got. I've also got my Healing with the Fairies and the Muse, if I want to pull clarifying cards. So you choose what you want to choose. You can choose all the cards. You can choose them in a row if you want, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are a couple of jumpers as well and a couple of cards that are related to other cards. So I always trust what Spirit gives me, and I always say take what resonates and leave the rest behind. It might just be that there's one sentence or one small area and that's your guidance for November. There might be things that right now you might listen to and think none of this is relevant, and then as the month progresses it becomes more relevant. So let's just ask all the spirit guides, the angels and the ancestors. I mean, they're already here because they've been chatting away to me, but I'm just going to ask them to come in now and bring through the guidance and any and all guidance for anybody listening at any point in time where it's relevant for them. The guidance is not restricted to time constraints in any way. It's just whenever the person that needs to receive it receives it. Right, okay, so starting with card number 1. So this is an astrology card. So we have the 9th house and faith. And first of all, when I look at this card, a little bit of a reflection there just from the light, the lampshade, sorry guys. Just with this card, the first thing that I've got is it sounds a bit Mystic Meg this, but it's about the hand and receiving. So there's something about money coming in or a check, or there's a worry about money around this card for somebody that's listening to this. Now, 9th house is often the house of foreign lands, foreign people. So it might be about hearing from loved ones abroad. 9th house as well can also be associated with, if I'm correct, higher learning. I'm sure it's ruled by Sagittarius, but I'll have to check that. But also this is, with the palm, that there is something to do with destiny path here coming up. That's what's for you will not pass you by. But as soon as I picked up this card, I just felt some worry about finances, worrying about things too far in the future. When we go on the ascension path, when we go on our spiritual learning, our connection to our soul, wherever that may be, whatever age that may be, it really doesn't matter. For everybody it's different. For some people it progresses as they move through their lives. Some people have awakenings, or they have wake up situations, openings in their lives that change the course of where they're meant to go. But actually this is all there in the destiny, and I feel like there's this is a card of reassurance for somebody for the month of November. And communications, I'm feeling like when I look at this card, because Spirit said to me tonight, just channel the cards, just let the cards speak to you and bring through the guidance, because it's always powerful on Halloween, but it's also, I always find as Scorpio rising myself, it's a very powerful time for me when I do readings during this period. So if you can see in the hand, I don't know if you can actually see it on your screen. I don't have state-of-the-art equipment, sorry guys, I don't. I just record with my own, bog standard equipment like everybody else. At some point I will have a professional camera, but I've had other priorities in my life, and Spirit always give me what I need to do my readings in whatever way. But the first half of November for this group or people that have chosen this card is, it feels like the comms are still murky. So I think up until Tuesday we're in the Mercury retrograde, but always as the planet's slowing, so it's turned direction, and then it starts to stop, and then it will then start to speed up to move forward. And they're usually the times where the comms can get most skew-whiffed. So it's not the time to make massive decisions, but the second half of November for you is going to be a lot clearer. So there's a lot of still clearing going on. I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of clearing going on at this side of the month. But I feel like this is the other side of the month, which is going to be much more clearer. And it's like the direction will come for you as the month progresses. So please do not worry if you're thinking, what am I doing? There's a change. I don't know what's going on. It's all going to be made clear halfway through the month. Right, so that's card number one. Card number two. Right, so you have the self-sabotage card. These cards are they're quite full on. They can trigger people, but what I like about these Ines Segal cards are they're very much about the 3D world and what many people have had to struggle with. I'm not reading inversions in these cards. I don't think anybody needs that kind of fear placed upon them when they're thinking, oh my God, I'm doing anything wrong. You're not. Sometimes we hold ourselves back because we're worried about going out there in the world. We're worried about going out and sharing what we can naturally do, because we may have been around people when we were younger that didn't really foster our dreams, that through their own wounds, or we have fear around stepping out and speaking up for ourselves. There's so many different reasons why. But I am really feeling like for November, for card 2, this is a chance to end this cycle and put the almost demons of the past to bed. And I feel like with this card that laughter will help around this. So if you're not having a bit of a fun Halloween, even if it's just having a phone call with somebody that you love or that you're close to if you live alone, but being around people that uplift you and actually support what you do in your own right. So when you are in healthy dynamics in relationships, people that are around you that want the best for you will just celebrate you no matter what, even if they've got their own confidence issues. What happens is sometimes people can project their own failings onto other people, and it's like they will want everybody to boost them up, but when it's the time to, it's not about doing something because somebody did it for you first, but when the time comes when it's natural in a relationship, the ebb and flow, and it's time to support the friend, it's not necessarily there because the other person's so busy, wrapped up in themselves. So I feel like there's a bit of that leaving as well for you in November. So there's a bit of the don't look back, just look in front of you is the advice I get for card number 2. Okay, and all will be well. Right, card number 3. Right, this is interesting. So you've got Capricorn, which is a sign of... Capricorn is a very strong sign. It's an earth sign, but it's also very, very hardworking. I don't like to give generic meanings. I'd like to stick more to the archetypal meanings of the signs. I'm just going to look at this card for a minute. I almost want to say for card number 3 to get on and do it. Okay, you've got everything that you need. I use, but I feel like everything, the tools that you need to move forward in whatever endeavour or whatever project. Or I'm feeling like when I'm just tuning into this card, it's like, well, I need that computer before I can do the website. No, you don't. You can do it. You can actually build a website on your phone. I've done it. But it's like, don't let not having everything just right stop you from moving forward, whether it's launching, whether it's bringing a business to, fruition, whether it's closing a door on something that is not really where you want to be moving forward. It's like a message of just go for it with this card. What is it? It's 22. This is a master number. Like, some of the most successful business leaders are Capricorns. They actually take calculated risks. So Capricorn is the sign of the business person. This is a person that would run conglomerates, that would run multifaceted businesses. It's not necessarily the entrepreneur. That's more fiery energy. This is the Capricorn is like they build structures that last for lifetimes. So whatever you're doing, don't let your goal of, well, it's not where I need it to be because I'm not going to, like having this, say, 5-year plan, or you've got an idea of what you want, but you're not starting it because it's going to take time. Sorry, guys, there's some fireworks there in the background. Somebody's having fun out there. It's just start is what I want to say to you, card number 3. Right, moving on to card number 4. Take off your mask. Wow, it's a bit of a message here. It's really about, not holding back November. It's not taking any prisoners, is it? So, but also this is about if there's things that have been troubling you or things that have been holding you back. Card number 4, if you've chosen this, is that there are people around you and there are people coming in that will help you, but people can't help you if they don't know what's going on. So sometimes I've seen this with relationships where people get upset because people are not preempting what is going on for them. So they might have been struggling and they're upset because a friend hasn't been in touch, or somebody hasn't been in regular contact, and then it's taken personally when maybe something serious is going on in that person's life. And I think this year everybody's had to face a lot of things that they've not wanted to face, but also it's thrown up this sense of, excuse my language, but fuck it, why wait? Life is short. What's important to me? Where do I want to live? I'm not going to wait 5 years or 10 years. What, I need another $2,000, I need another $5,000. And that has really come up in some of the readings I've done recently, if only. So there's an element here of take off your mask for yourself first. See the beauty of all of who you are, your flaws, your beauty, your skills, your talents, all of it makes up you being beautiful. And actually, people who are awesome to be around will love the fact that their partner or their beloved or their friend or their family member does all these quirks and these silly things and is quite kooky and is a bit daft. And that's really true love, isn't it? Being able to love all things. But do you love all those things about you? There's an element here as well with shadow work, with take off your mask. So the fireworks are going mad out there. And with shadow work allows us to see who we really are. Maybe the things that we've been hiding from in our past, or things that we haven't processed, actually become stronger and more controlling in front of our lives and our destiny, because pushing them away, Spirit will always guide you on your path and your destiny to clear these things so that you can fully enjoy what's coming. If you keep repressing shadow work, it just gets stronger in the background, and it's like they're going on waiting for you and waiting for you. And actually, once you do your shadow work, it's very liberating, because you realise, you start to meet people who've gone through exactly the same thing, and you realise that we're all imperfect. So that's the message for card number 4. Card number 5 is unleash your creativity. Now this came up in the reading the other day that I did for the group. This lady in here, in this picture, she's a jack of all trades, and she just gets the job done. I just need to, because I've not looked at these cards, I just need to have a quick look at them just to see if anything's jumping out at me. With this card, I want to say, okay, that if you've got an idea and you're still ruminating on it, it's in your cauldron and it's cooking. Like my tea is in my cauldron now cooking, because I'm a witch at the end of the day. I'm not actually a real witch, but I'm more of a witchy woo person. But what I want to say with this card, and it's got nothing to do with the picture, is that if you're cooking something really beautiful, or you're sitting on something, or you're creating something, but you're not yet ready to share it, don't. And let it percolate a bit longer during this month. But also, don't share it with people that you don't trust. A big part of manifestation is allowing yourself to trust the right time when to move on it. And you don't have to share it until you're ready. And don't put any undue pressure on yourself. And please don't compare yourself to anybody that's done what you're doing before you, because there are always new ways of reinvention and rebirth. And it just kills creativity when you compare and you contrast, because you're trying to be something and you're trying to compare something to what you aren't and what you're not going to create. So it's never going to end well. I feel like with this card number 4, it's about timing on what it is that you're doing and launching. And I don't know, I'm hearing November the 15th for you as well is a date that's going to be important this month. Right, so then we've got card number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, so for number 6, you've got the card of healing. And I think this is quite self-explanatory, that more time is needed for self-care, for some self-compassion is what I'm hearing. And what's your inner dialogue like with you? Are you hard on yourself, going, well, I haven't done this right, I haven't done that? Is there a critical parent in there that needs a bit of silencing, that needs sending off on holiday? Or is there a loving parent in there who just says, you know what, you did it, you gave your best shot, that didn't work out because it wasn't for you, but you'll figure something out at the right time? That's the loving parent. The critical parent is like, well, you're not going to make any money and you're doing this and you do. It's not kind. So there's a healing link here to comms and a change in the inner tapes of what is going around in your head. And it's not like major homework or anything like that. Spirit just saying it's about just changing the script a little bit and spending a bit of time with yourself and loving you just because you can. And somebody was saying today, I was listening to, about how it's almost like we're being forced to slow down, but we're also being forced to go within and look within. And a lot of the time we've not wanted to do it because we're like, no, we want to get back, we want to do this, we want to go on holiday. But actually this situation is helping the reprogramming and the emotional upgrade that many people have needed for some time. And it's usually through painful experiences do we really learn and grow the most, because we'll do anything sometimes to get out of them. But actually the real integration is sitting with it and going, it's okay, I'll get through it. And almost it's like that point when we surrender to it, what is, whatever the outcome will be, there's actually joy if the moment kicks in. So that's the message for card number 6. Right, card number 7. Right, this is a bit bent, this card. Right, so card number 7, and it's interesting because 6, 7 and 8 are linked, because when I shuffled card 8, it landed on top of these cards. So if you've picked these cards similar together, or this line, maybe you're going across and you're reading your cards across, or maybe you're reading them down. So you can always write down the cards and have a look, or just screenshot them as I do the reading and then listen to them and put them together and see what's the message. Is it that maybe the unleash your creativity is is the answer for your healing, which is moving you away from this, which is victim consciousness, which is, there's a lot of this going on right now in the world, because we want what the ego wants, what the ego wants when it wants it. And the ego will always create situations where you're not good enough. There's a time frame, there's a time limit, there's never enough. It's a lack mentality. I'm just going to look at this card. Okay, victim consciousness. I actually feel with this card there's a need to meditate. There's a need to open up the third eye a bit more. Whoops. And actually, sorry, I can't hold that card up. I need one of those little card holders. There's a need here to open up the third eye and to move away from what's going on out there, because that's creating some of this victim consciousness energy. I feel like number 7 card is to not be in the thick of it, of what's going outside there, but to really start maintaining a spiritual practice, which is a connection with your soul. And actually, immediately, if not very, very quickly, you'll find your energy frequency will change. How you feel will change very quickly. From feeling a victim to outside circumstances, which we all do at certain points. But the victim archetype is brilliant, because a lot of people think when you say, well, the victim archetype, or you see this word, you think, oh my God, no, I don't want to be like that. Because, you know, we've all been around somebody who's really struggling and they just want to moan about every single thing that's going wrong in life. And there are times when we need to get things off our chest. But the victim consciousness is often, sorry, I just need to get myself comfortable. The victim consciousness is very much when we are stuck in a place of, well, my life is crap because of this or because of that, because of, we give our power away to another thing, a person, outside circumstances. And actually, it's a state of being. The victim will appear on our path to go, the victim's here, it's time to make a change, it's time to reorientate the focus. What's my philosophy? What are my values? What are my beliefs? What am I investing in right now? Is this accounting for this, or is it making me feel like this? You know, is it making me feel like creative and that there's solutions to things, or that something will come through, or we'll get through this? Or is it going, you know, life is shit, this is just going to be shit now and everything else is going to go wrong? Because once we get on that path, and almost like that belief and that thinking process, that's when we don't necessarily feel great, do we? So that's card number 7. So the victim will appear and say, actually, I don't need to be a victim in this situation. What can I do instead? Right, so this is interesting. I do think that these cards are linked around here because, as I said before, card 8 fell on top of healing and victim consciousness. So there's a healing going on around that victim consciousness this month for many people, because we've got the rejection card. And isn't it that famous saying that rejection is God's protection? So again, I like to share little stories about my travels and things I've experienced. And I'll never ever forget where I used to live. I would be like, I lived in a foreign country, I lived in the Middle East for years. And I just thought, you know, I'd invest, buy myself a property, and I was determined that I was going to get this property. And I thought, you know what, it's a good investment, it's sound. And my bank manager at the time, it was like really old, so you go in, they'd make you a cup of tea, they'd bring a trolley around, they'd make you a cup of tea. It was really nice, actually. It was a very personal service. You'd go in and you could chat with the bank manager. You'd sit in and you'd have a chat. I remember I went in and he was like, yeah, you know, we'll lend you the money. It was all great and whatever. And I didn't know this, but the following year I was going to leave my job, and then there was a massive financial crisis, and I'd actually signed for something. I went in the next day and I cancelled it. And I got messages from Spirit to say this is not the right, it's not the right time, it's not the right idea. And there was a few blocks on the way and I didn't listen to them. I was a lot younger, I was quite naive and I was quite impulsive when I was younger. I just got so protected because the money I saved ended up helping me for many years to come. But I would have lost that on the house. And actually, I found that people that had bought in that development had had lots of problems. So I want you to know that if you've been rejected by somebody, this is card 8, or you felt like something in your life hasn't worked out and you're feeling rejected by the experience and you're feeling like a failure, I want you to just do what Michael Jordan would do, which I said in my last video, which is failure wouldn't even go into his head. It just wasn't. It wasn't even he said it was an option. He just didn't think about it. He kept thinking, so he trained his neural pathways to think, how can I do this? How can I do it? So there's a time when we need to grieve and there's a time when we need to put things to bed and say, that was an awful experience. I don't really want to go through that again. But 13 is the number of the divine feminine. So I really feel in this card there's going to be something coming in for you guys in card number 8 of guidance with Spirit of another way and a new way through. So this could be the relationship that you thought you had all the right elements, but maybe there was one thing that you just couldn't get over and you feel like a failure that couldn't work. But it's never a failure. It's just Spirit never leave you behind. They'll never leave you alone unless you want that for yourself, and that's fine. Some people want to be and they're happy with that way. Some people are not, and then they'll say, oh, that's time for me, it's over, it's not going to happen. But somewhere in there is a belief or a set of rules that they've instigated within themselves where they won't allow it to come in. I just feel like there's like a beam of light. I know that isn't what the picture is, but I feel there's a beam of light, and I feel like this is something to do with love for some people. So there's a relationship or a past failure, or what could be seen as a failure, but I'm not seeing it as a failure. And there's like an element, well, will I ever meet somebody? And that person and everything was right, but the timing was off. They didn't want kids and I do, or something. Is that you need to grieve and you need to go, right, okay, this wasn't right for me because it wasn't right for me. I'm not forcing anybody here to feel any way different. If you feel like crap and you need help, reach out, get the support that you need. Talk to a really trusted friend or somebody you know isn't going to lecture you, but they're just going to be there for you. And then look at all the things. What's really helpful sometimes is to write all the things that weren't great versus the thing that were, and quite often you'll find that the list will be bigger on the things that weren't right if you're really honest with yourself. But I want to say that the cords are being cut this month. So in the last message that I gave, there was a big link to love, and that coming up in this full moon cycle that some past loves will be coming back to apologise, to sign off the contract. So what's important is this cord and this beam of light. The light needs to come in, so that cord needs to be severed with the past, because she's not really looking back at the past, but there's someone in the corner looking at her. But for some people, the apology almost needs to happen because energetically there's like an amends that needs to occur so that the two souls can draw the line and say, this is done now, we know it's done. And actually, I feel like the other side of November, there's new avenues coming in. And what Spirit is saying to me is that we need to be more open about how we're going to meet people. And they're saying that a great way for some people to meet people is through friends. Sometimes it can go horrendously wrong when like a friend will go, I've got this person that's perfect, and really they're picking somebody that they would go for, not somebody that's the right energetic match for you. But what they're saying is, like, we go out for walks. Not all of us are totally like hemmed in, and then their openings and their introductions that are going to be made online through friends, and they're saying to be open to that. people are very resilient. The human race is very resilient, and it's also really adaptive and incredibly powerful at survival. And I think we're going to learn that a lot of the things that we thought we needed, we're not going to need. And actually that we're not going to waste time on things that don't feel right, that drag us back to the past. So there's a massive message there with that number 8 card. But 8 is a power number, and actually 8th house is the house that Scorpio rules. So there's a big link here with death, rebirth and transformation. And actually Scorpio time, it rules sex, it rules the sexual organs, it rules like that, like deep fiery passion, like real. I mean, Scorpios meld in relationships differently than a lot of other signs, whereas Pisces might totally immerse themselves with their lover and fuse. Scorpios go to places that you wouldn't be able to tell even with their poker face. There's a lot that runs deep. So I just feel like if this is a relationship for somebody, that, do not be hard on yourself, because whatever's happened, it has been painful, but it's also been a massive deep learning period for you. But it's just going to thwart you forward into your future in what you really want, away from what you don't want. Right, so card number 9. So this is interesting. So you guys got the number 9 card, which is how teachable are you? And I don't know why I'm hearing a bit of a joke with this card, that because I'm seeing like the violin here, and it's almost like, somebody would go, right, so next year I'm going to learn to play the piano, the guitar. I'm going to read 10 books from this. I'm going to read the Course in Miracles. Some people will have these goals, which I think is wonderful and fair play to them. But I'm seeing a lot of energy around this 9. I don't know what it is, but I've just got to say what I see, which is like, I start one thing, I spend 10 minutes on it or a week, and then I get bored and then I move on. And there's that energy to this card, is what I'm hearing, is to stick with it. There's a reason why you get bored easily, because there's an element of not ungroundedness. That's not how I feel. But there's a lot of playfulness around this card. I really don't want this to be serious. But it's like a part of your journey is learning to stick with something and not give up on it before it's too soon. And that's what the How Teachable Are You card is all about. I'm just looking at it just to see if I see anything else there. Yeah, it's really learning the art of focus and concentration. And I don't know why, but also with this card, I'm hearing to tell somebody about their screen time this month. And it's linked to why they're not sleeping very well. There's an addiction to their screen, which is, it's almost like they can't sleep without their screen. I mean, I know this one, guys. I mean, there's absolutely no judgment. I've literally been through that myself. But I also feel like November for you is going to be a month to start learning new skills as well. So to try something new as a way to hone your focus, but also as a form of relaxation, and not distraction, but commitment to something that makes you happy, that you have for you, which is about you and no one else. And I'm hearing this for parents. So, there's never an age where you can't do something. I'd actually love to learn to play the violin. I can play the piano, but I haven't played it for years and I've lost my skill. But once I get a piano and I'm settled, I'm actually going to get, I'm going to start playing again, because it's so relaxing. I mean, I love music and I loved playing music. But maybe this is a message for you to start playing the violin or learn with your children. And I mean, they might think it's uncool, but you know what? Who cares? I was at the shop earlier on today and I really embarrassed myself because I called the QR code a QRG or QTC or something. Oh my God, I was like, He was like at the cash register, he went the QR code, and then he started laughing. I went, look, I'm just not cool anymore. I'm not down with the kids. But we still had a joke. I mean, there's like 20 years difference with us. But when people are lovely, age is just a number, isn't it? And I'm just feeling like books as well, to move away from your screen and even your Kindle, they're saying, is to buy books. Books are having a massive upsurge at the moment, but we are, books are not really expensive, and they're really supporting artists. If we want to support our communities and we want to learn, we want to teach our children. I mean, I'm obsessed with books, and I've noticed this with teaching over the years, is how I've noticed a depletion in the skill set of young people with their writing and reading skills, because they're on screens all the time and they're texting, and sometimes I was having to correct them. They would write jargon that they would text, and I would say that's not actually correct grammar. And some of them were brilliant. They'd say, oh, miss, could you help me to? And I said, of course I can. But it was like their brain had been programmed, because they'd been learning everything on a screen, and they hadn't got used to using their hands either. So there's something here about getting out of electronics and getting back with your hands and learning crafts and skills. And so a completely different message there for number 9 from number 8. Right, so number 10. So number 10, you are greedy because you got 2 cards now, I'm only joking. So you've got the dream card. Oh, wow, look at that card. I've actually not seen this card before. Look at that tiger. Oh, it's so beautiful, isn't it? It's a dreamy card. So we've got the dreams card, and then oh, wow. Oh, this is so gorgeous, guys. And you got the soulmate card. Oh my God, look at that. So I am leaving this one to many interpretations, because maybe some of you are with your soulmate already, and you are lucky enough that you've actually found yourselves. Right, I'm just going to put my big, to do with love, we have to have the rose quartz there. So there we go. So we're going to have the dreams card that's going to balance with the soulmate card. Not even looked at that properly. So this one can play out in different ways. So it could be that you're already with your beloved. It could be a best friend. It could be your animal. Soulmates come in different guises. I remember some famous mystic or medium person saying that animals didn't have souls. I wasn't just devastated, I was really upset. I was like, no, because animals are usually, with mediumship, they're the first souls to come back to say hello in readings. A lot of mediums see animals around people have passed on. Right, so this could mean many different things. Is that you're spending time with your soulmate during this month, that your soulmate is coming into your life. Oh, yes. Yes, please, if it is for people. We want that for everyone, don't we? We want, love does make the world go round. But I feel like for those of you who haven't met them yet, this person, you can't see them yet. Because now my cards are never based, I always base them on energies, masculine and feminine. So you could be a person that goes between the two. You could be a woman who's predominantly the masculine in the relationship, or you could be the man who's the feminine. I've always said this in my readings. If you're new to my readings, just to clarify that. But I feel that this person, yes, with the soulmate, is somebody, so I'll just focus on this card for a minute, is somebody you can't see, so they're coming from behind, but there's a reason why you're not visualizing what they look like, because the energy match is perfect. It's coming from heaven, because the dreams card is there. So it's been sent to you from a place of strength from above, from your spiritual team. So you've asked, there's an angelic link here as well. So, soulmates can come into our lives for many reasons. But I feel with this is that there's a look of that she's still getting used to, or the person here is still getting used to the fact that this person is coming in. So it could be a case of you've got to the point where you think, is it ever going to happen? And then you just let go. And that's usually when they do come in. When there's that still sense of need, it's not that it's bad, guys. I don't want to criticize anybody. I think it's a natural human desire to connect and to merge with somebody. I do. When, and for some people it's not, but for the majority of people I've met and read for, it is. But I feel like this soulmate has been sent from above, and it's linked to, like the messages we're saying, it's why the unfinished business needs to be tied up for some people. But for other people, their unfinished business is in taking care of themselves. So it's resting, it's recuperation, it is prioritizing their needs. This is for the group of society who have been taking care of everybody else, like the earth angels, the givers. These are the lovers of life. They've come down here to want to make the world and the earth a better place. But what Spirit is saying is now it's time for you to receive something more powerful in your life that isn't just about you giving, it's about you receiving too. And it's like the animal kingdom, the angelic kingdom, the past lives. There's so much energy that's built, and support coming around this relationship or this meeting of souls, not just minds. It's a meeting of souls. And a meeting of souls is when you look in their eyes and you meet. There's just a knowing. You know each other. The soul recognizes the other soul, and it's through the eyes. And if you've had a soulmate relationship, you know this, which most of us have by now, or we've met somebody who's a soulmate. Some soulmates come in to teach us, and it's not necessarily easy relationships. There could be friendships, there could be family members that are like soulmates that come in, but whatever we go through together, it strengthens us. So an absolutely beautiful message. So no wonder that it was meant to be 2 cards coming out for card number 10. Card number 11. Right, so this is a nod to the Taurus full moon. So we've got the sign of Taurus, and we've got I have. Now, Taurus rules the 2nd house in astrology, which is all about earning resources. Sorry, I forgot to mention about Scorpio as well. The opposite sign, the 8th house, is about other people's resources. So it's about inherit. I can't say that word. I'm tongue-tied now. Wills, inheritance, other people's money. But the 2nd house is about the money that we earn and what we have. And I feel like for card number 11, this is about building. This is about building what you have, and moving through whatever you're moving through in November and building it. So Taurus is about, it's more root chakra. So it's like your house, your finances, buying sturdy, solid furniture, having nice, healthy, beautiful food in your fridge, fresh water, little bit of luxuries, a little bit of indulgence. I know this being a Taurus myself. We're also quite humble. People think we're all a bit like, we need this and we need that to feel safe. We also are very resourceful. We also do without things when we need to, because we know we make a couple of sacrifices on the way up. And I have to say that this card is also about on the way up. So Taurus, I don't know why, I just get this. Whatever you're doing, you're on the way up. So you're building back up, whether it's your resources, whether it's your income. And I know right now out there it's difficult for many people, but there's going to be an opportunity to do this in November for you, whether this might be a consolidation of your assets or a letting go of things that you don't need. There's going to be a feeling during the month of having everything that you need and not wanting for much. But also that you have got resources to build on that you already have. I feel like this with this card. You're in a really good place, and if you're not, you are going to be in November. There's reassurance about this, but there's also a reassurance about what you can do with what you've got. I want to tell you that you can do a lot more with what you've got than what you realise right now. Yeah, so that's what I get with card 11, guys. And remember, if you get any messages for yourself while you're listening, brilliant. The more the merrier, I say. Right, now, group number 12 or card number 12, you also got, you're asking for a couple of cards. So you got 2 cards. So you got number 1, which is the Sun and Spirit. It's like shining your light. Oh, this is so beautiful. And then you got the card of the 11th house, which is friends. And the 11th house is also about hopes, dreams and wishes as well, and associations and groups that we belong to. So I have to say, with these 2 cards coming out together, there is a link here about you being, you're like the glue that holds the friendship group together. Or if not, you will be this month. I feel like you're going to be the light worker in your group of friends this month. So when everybody's going through a few moments of wobbles and maybe feeling a bit lonely or feeling like they miss you, whatever, you're just going to come bouncing along saying, right, I'm going to irritate you all by announcing we're going to do a quiz night on Zoom. It's almost like there's some light in you that has this desire to, it's like an infectious energy that you have this month, and you're spreading the love, but you're also like a ball of light wherever you go, with whoever you meet, but most often with your friendship groups. And don't be afraid to shine and be out there, and and be yourself with your friends, because I think once this time is over, and it will be, your friends are never going to forget what you have done for them over this last, months, but yet years, I hear, like that. We all, when we've all come into contact with somebody and they're just filled with light, they're just filled with love and light, and like, no matter what adversity happens, they see the good in everything. These are like people that we're so blessed when we have these people in our lives. And these aren't people that are toxic, positive people. So they just throw everything underneath the carpet, but then when they're at home, they're moaning about everybody and everything. No, these are people that are just filled with light. I don't want to say they intoxify you. They're very much... I've worked with people like this. When I was an air stewardess, I've worked with people like this on the plane, and I literally, when I got off the flight, I'd want to go out and have dinner with them. And usually after a long flight, people just asking you for stuff constantly for hours, like you didn't even matter. And that was usually the case. Like when you work with these people, you just feel like so grateful that they were on your flight and that they were your support, and you're obviously their support. And you come off the flight and you just think, what a great day I've had because I've been around this person. They've just got that fire. They've got that inner child playfulness. And they just, like, I remember there's one guy I worked with. I did a flight to London and we just laughed all the way there. And he was just funny without even trying. And it was just brilliant to be around. He wasn't exhausting. He was just very uplifting. So there's some message around card 12 that either... you are this person, or you're going to be around this energy. There's this chance to be around this energy, or reach out to this energy in your friendship groups this month. Like, don't be isolated, don't be cut off. Allow the light to penetrate your life. And also, when I see this card, it's also about vitamin D. If you are not feeling great, or you've been, because we need vitamin D to synthesize a lot of the metabolic processes in the body. So there could be an element here that if you're feeling a little bit like you just don't want to chat, you don't want to talk to anybody, that there might be a little bit of injection of life needed into your body. So if you think the sun is symbolic of life force, because the sun gives us light, and that light helps the photosynthesis of plants and so many different, you know, things that we need on the earth to grow food, and it gives us life. So there's an element here of allowing life to be injected back into your personal or private situation, but also into your body if needed. But we have to act on that. If we're feeling it, we need to maybe do a little bit of research, and we need to find out, you know, is there anything we can do to help ourselves? Right, guys, so I'm just going to ask for one more card now off the Muse, just for a bit of fun. And what I will do is I will take a picture of these cards and I will leave them here. So if you want to have a look at them, you can do. Right, let's move the big rock out of the way. And let's please ask the Muse, what's the Muse like to tell us for November? Thank you, Muse. Thank you, Muse. What's the message for November? What's the message for November? Okay. Right. So this is the card of pushing out the noise. So this is like the Seven of Swords. Now the Six of Swords is moving away from difficult situations. But I feel this is a month for all of us to push away all the white noise, all the chaos, all the nonsense, all the crap that's being flung about, and just create our own safe space that's filled with light again. It's filled with light. And I'm actually going to read the card from the info from the book for this card, because I absolutely love how these cards have been written. They're just the poetry. Right, where is it? Right, so Seven of Inspiration. Defending your position, being attacked, protecting your inner light, other people's negative opinions or scarcity mindsets, internal versus external validation, energetic shields, paying attention to your energy. After feeling the sunlight of goals met and success tasted, the Seven of Inspiration finds herself with clouded perception and a heavy heart. Those around her have attacked her wins, her path, her position. Some simply don't understand her unique glow and disagree with her, so they try to push her down. Some covet her accomplishments or dislike them. Some have mindsets about success that confuse their own fragile feelings about what they don't have with how they feel about her. She wavers, feeling it all, taking it in. And as she does, her fire begins to dim. It sputters as she allows the external jabber to enter her core. Then she remembers that rising ups can sometimes mean others will not agree. She breathes in. She settles once more. She fills her heart with joy. Do not be dimmed. You deserve this success. It's time to defend your spark and reach out in love, pushing all eternal darkness away. Defend. I am here. I am strong, and I have made it. Take. You can't. And break. I shan't. No closing in will shade it. I absolutely love that message. And this is for all you light workers out there. Don't dim your light for anybody, but also don't listen to the nonsense out there. I know what spirit tell me, and I've really had to stick to my guns this year, and I will always follow the guidance, because it's never ever failed me. Never failed me. And your internal guidance and GPS, if it's tuned in with spirit, will never be wrong, guys. Even if at the time it might feel a little bit odd and it's settling in, it's just, you're assimilating things. Don't minimize yourself to fit in. You don't even have to tell. Just be yourself. Go out there and shine. And what I found is it's infectious. That was the word I was trying to think of before. Thank you, Spirit. It's infectious when you go out and about and you're around people and you just, when you've been in the street, and sometimes I've heard Spirit say to me, smile at that person. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, okay, I want to mind my own business. And I've given them a smile, and the massive smile that appeared on their face, it's like, that's what light work is. That's what sharing love's all about. It can be with a stranger. And then weirdly enough, on a random day when I've had I'm having a really crap time, or it's just a challenging day and I'm a bit tired, somebody's turned around to me in the supermarket and smiled, and I thought that was lovely, that was really nice. So I'm going to leave you on that note, guys. I'm sending all my love. I'm wishing you a wonderful, successful, light-filled November with many uncoverings of wisdom, of knowledge, of guidance and help and support, and it's always there. You're never alone. Take care, and I will see you on the other side. Take care.